for most of these. He's done this now. He came up with this idea that, and we talked about this as a part of our strategic plan, to provide a little more value from North Dakota small schools. So we get some of our sponsors on here to tell you exactly what they offer you and the services that they have. This morning we've got with us Andy Wills from Mackin. And Andy just wants to take a few minutes of your time. I think he's got a little slide presentation. I'll let him introduce and tell you more about what they have that can help you at our small school. So with that, Andy, I'm going to turn it over to you. And thanks everybody for being here.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Steve. And thank you all for taking some time. I know you're very busy in the middle of the week here and ramping up for the next holiday break. So I'll try to keep it short and sweet and leave some time for questions if you have any. And then certainly after this meeting, if you or others in your district or school want to connect and go deeper into some things and get recommendations, happy to schedule those times. So let me share my screen here quick and get my slideshow started. Can everyone see that on your end? Hopefully. Right. Well, as I mentioned, Andy Wills, I am the Mackin consultant for North Dakota, also South Dakota and Colorado. I am based in Detroit Lakes, Minnesota. I've been working with schools for a little over 10 years, pretty much my entire professional career, helping with different supplemental resources. So print titles, digital titles, databases, makerspace products, pretty much anything other than actual curriculum programs that are kind of sole source with different vendors. We represent every educational publisher out there. But here at Mackin, so we have access to over 4.2 million print and digital titles. So we actually have the world's largest collection of pre-K-12 print. In the trade realm, we have 5 different divisions. You got 6 things up here. So we have our library division, our classroom division, our learning or Mackin Learning or professional development division, our makerspace, and then digital, which is Mackin VR, digital content management system. And today I'm just going to do a little overview of kind of each of these branches and how we partner with schools. And then, like I said, hopefully have some time for conversation at the end. I'm going to start with our classroom services. So this is probably more up your realm.
Andy,
we
just
work
a
with
second.
schools.
According to
Sure.
mine, you disabled your screen sharing. So do you want to enable it again?
Oh, are you interested?
Yeah, we're not seeing your screen. I was just sending you a text or a message. There we go.
Oh.
Here it comes. Now we're on.
Sorry
and then you're
about
going to want to
that.
increase the size of that too, Andy. Zoom that baby up a little bit.
Sorry about that. When I initially started my slideshow, I couldn't see the Zoom and didn't realize it wasn't working. So here are those different pillars of ours again that I was explaining and circling around with my mouse, but I'm going to jump into our classroom here. So we work with schools in a variety of different ways. We work with curriculum teams, ELA, social studies, science, you name it. Anytime that you're looking for different supplemental resources, we actually partner with you for free. So we have internal specialists, not me, much smarter people you can literally give them the framework of what you're trying to accomplish. If you have new standards that are creating gaps, or you just need some new leveled libraries or to add to those leveled libraries, you need curriculum titles that are going to add to your current curriculum. Maybe you're creating your own curriculum. I mean, you can literally give us the framework, and rather than you spending hours and headache going out and trying to find the best titles to pair to those, let us do it for you. There is absolutely no obligation, no charge to do it. Honestly, our team is like having somebody on your staff that you don't have to pay. And I know everybody struggles with time, and also you don't have the time to know all of the new resources out there. Every year, over 18,000 publishers come out with spring and fall titles. There's no way an educator, when you're taking care of your day-to-day in your school, can keep track of all of those. So we come in, and that's where we really add our value. We also sell all different bindings. We even have a lifetime guaranteed binding called Mackin Bound. So even if those titles are out of print, you can take a picture of any damage. If it falls apart, we'll send you a replacement. We help with labeling, containment, like all the little sleeves for your classroom libraries and different things. We'll do inquiry kits and have them all ready to go for you, or take home summer reading kits. I mean, last year we did take-home kits that had 3 award-winning titles, a reading journal, online resources, and they started at like $20. You literally couldn't even get the books alone for $20, let alone packaged, labeled, ready to hand out to students and staff for whatever project you're working on. So our classroom team is amazing to work with, and would highly encourage you to give us a shot. It's like I said, we're just a time saver. It's not going to cost you anything, and just see what we'd recommend. If you decide to go another direction, so be it. Our library services are also a big part of our company. We actually started in the library over 40 years ago. Obviously, we do everything else now, but on the library side, we actually do all your labeling for free. So your spine labels, your barcode labels, your reading program labels, your mark records, all free. We also have an amazing website. So your librarian or whoever covers the library can actually plug in your collection to their account, get a great analysis, a tag report so they can see how diverse your collection is or how many SEL titles you have. So many different things that you can kind of get into, and then obviously just having access to tons and tons of different titles. We also have professional librarians in-house. Same way on the classroom side, they will look at your collection if you upload it into your account and say, okay, we would focus X amount of dollars on these areas. Or they could request, hey, we really need some high interest titles with going to be appealing to a fifth grader that's reading at a second grade level, and our team will go out and find different titles that you don't already have in your collection, suggest those absolutely free. So again, just really customization is the name of our game. Having people on our end that'll professionally support you and help with custom title curation, saving you, again, hours of time and headache. And then of course, all the different bindings. Mackin bounds, again, are really, really big on our library side. We have a huge selection of those. Again, they come fully processed, ready to go, upload into your mark system. Next is our makerspace. So this has really been taken off since after COVID. Yes, are we having issues again?
Question was, how do you vet your books?
In terms
especially
of
in today's age when we have people questioning what books are in the library.
Absolutely. So when you submit your requests, you can have a Zoom with us, you can email us, and we also have forms online. So you can have a classroom custom list request, library custom list request, maker list request. When you do those, you just specify what types of titles you're looking for. No matter the parameters, our team takes those into consideration. Now, mind you, we are not the final authority on what titles you choose. You still have the ability to edit those lists that we send you. We just try to make them as close to what you're looking for as possible. If you're not wanting titles that kind of raise red flags and have maturity, we've actually added maturity labels onto some titles on our website that have, you know, kind of the titles that have kind of raised some concerns with people. But again, we don't want to tell you what not to order. You tell us what you're looking for, and we will try to customize those titles as best to that as possible. And I'll show you some of that on our website. We have interest level, we have full text reviews, all the type of information, even previews. You can get into the titles as an ebook and read them before, everything you would imagine and more. Hopefully that answers your question. But back to Makerspace. Oh, go ahead.
Andy, one real quick question, just so I can put this to rest. These are all resources. None of these are instructional materials. Is that correct?
These are all supplementary resources, mainly considered like a trade title, if that answers. So we don't do curriculum programs. We help supplement those curriculum programs you have in place, or if you're creating your own curriculum, we help find the titles that are going to accomplish those goals.
So one more follow-up question, and I'm going to mute myself and shut up and listen to you. And that is, is there a focus of being aligned with the science of reading?
Yes, we sell decodable titles. We only sell the best quality ones. We actually, that's a huge conversation point that we do right now. We have Beanstalk titles, which is has a great scope and sequence for those decodable titles in the science of reading. And again, you just tell us what you're looking for, and we'll help find those titles. Some decodable titles, I'll be honest, are sole source, but there's at least 10 publishers that we highly recommend. And we do a lot of vetting with those, because the science of reading, of course, is supposed to be a very strict scope and sequence along with those books, and you're supposed to follow that. Some people who name themselves as decodable texts aren't decodable texts. So we actually do a very close analysis and viewpoint before we ever recommend those types of titles.
Thank you.
Makerspace products. So like I was saying, this has really, gotten hot again after COVID time and different things. And if you're looking to add your makerspace, start a new makerspace, have a transportable, portable makerspace, we help with it all. They even make like gamified kits, take-home kits. They pair print titles that are going to help go along with those projects. And honestly, if you are looking to start a makerspace, I would highly recommend using them for custom recommendations, if only for the fact that some products just don't pair well with other. If you can get 3 coding products, and one coding product can be a completely different process and not make sense at all to pair with other ones, you could just totally ruin your strategy. So take a moment to connect with them. They're an awesome team. Again, we have library, classroom, and maker specialists. They're all separate. They all specialize in very, strategic things. And as you can see here, all the different things they help with. We sell everything individually too, but typically, in my experience, when we work with people in maker spaces, we usually have a Zoom or they fill out our form, tell us exactly what they're trying to accomplish, what students they're going to be working, how many, what their space is going to look like, what their technology is. We take all those into consideration before providing recommendations. And then this next quote, I guess, really sums up what I'm saying really well for our maker team, and that's why I included it. We just take everything into consideration, what your curriculum and all your goals, and make sure that those resources are going to fit your needs. And then last is well, not quite last, but our Mackin learning team. So if you're looking for any professional development, especially around library, literacy, and ELA, digital learning, especially with our Mackin via digital content management system, or maker education, our team's amazing. We've actually worked with the North Dakota Department of Education. Last summer, one of our director actually did a session at a literacy conference, and then she's actually doing another session with them here next month, I believe. Awesome team. If you're looking for that next step with some of those resources and really getting your teachers going on certain things, check them out. And they do custom solutions as well. They'll fit your budget. They'll do virtual, in-person, hybrid, whatever you need that's going to fit your budget and your needs to accomplish those goals. So Mackin Via, I've mentioned that a few times. You're probably like, what the heck is that? It's a digital content management system that's completely free for pre-K-12 schools. It's actually one of the nation's top digital content management systems. Over 9 million students have access to it daily. We even do, Red River Valley in North Dakota specifically has a shared digital consortium through Mackin Via. But as you can see here, Mackin Via has won a ton of national awards. So Mackin Via is for all your digital content, your ebooks, your audiobooks, your databases, websites, YouTube videos and Vimeo videos, anything that has a URL, even a PDF with school information, can go on Mackin Via. It doesn't matter where you bought it from, doesn't matter who hosted the content. You put it all on Mackin Via under one login. We can connect to your SSO. We even have learning management system integrations, tons of different things. Shared digital collections, though, is obviously a big thing too. Why I wanted to bring it up, especially with small schools, because you can share titles amongst school sites in your state from anywhere. So you can split the cost of single user ebooks and audiobooks and have those titles in all your schools' Mackin Vias, but yet have your own custom Mackin Via. So you might have shared resources in there, but you can also have your own resources that you just have for your school. You can also add all the state databases from the NDSL, throw those all on there. And then there's even like cool search functions for like research. You can go in your database section, search zebras. You're going to get article recommendations from all your databases. Go under the websites. We work with like 30 of the largest educational websites. Search zebras, get article recommendations from all those websites in one search. And then a ton of different things with annotations and the e-reader, all the ebooks you can imagine. As you can see, Mackin Via, can't stress enough, is an amazing resource. And again, it's absolutely free. Doesn't cost you a darn thing at all. There's no ongoing fees, no startup fees, no authentication fees, nothing. The only thing you ever pay for is the digital resources that you want to purchase from us. And any digital resources that you have or purchase outside of us, you can still put on there. So yeah, another thing I was just going to mention, why are digital libraries important? Resources available 24/7, personalized reading environment, multiple formats, more choice. We even do like class sets for short-term ebooks that are going to be like $1 to $5. So if you have book clubs or just want to provide more choice for some of those novel sets, different things like that. Download titles for offline reading, more languages, and share digital collections again. You can also, one thing I love about Mackin Via is the groups portion and how it ties in more into the classroom. Mackin Via obviously gets pegged under the library, but there are tons of classroom specific for pre-K-12 tools and features. Groups is one of them. You put all your resources on Mackin Via. Now your teacher can take those resources, which may have had different logins, different sites, different hosting, everything. Now they can easily put them in a group. They can give kids instructions on what to do with those resources. Even further, they can integrate that group or resource into your learning management system, whether it be Google Classroom, Schoology, Canvas, what have you, right into their coursework. So everything is one click away. Mackin Via is actually an LTI app for those learning management systems. So very easy and make your digital content more accessible for your students. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions. I can certainly hop into our live website or to Mackin Via. So we have an e-commerce site where you do all your shopping, mackin.com, where it has full text reviews, millions of titles, digital previews where you can read books and ebooks, and lots of different tools for your librarians, as I mentioned earlier. But some of that might not be quite up your realm and might be better to connect with others. But I do want to open it up with questions.
Yeah, so go ahead, please come off mute and ask Andy your questions. You can throw them in the chat too if you want, but you might as well just come off mute and fire away. I'll start with one. Could a school district create the digital library and actually make it accessible to community patrons?
You can. Yep.
Okay. So I mean, so I think some of our smaller communities may not have an actual library in them, but the school could provide that service through this digital Mackin Via, correct?
Yes. So the authentication portion might look different depending on what you guys do there in terms of public versus the school. You could certainly set up your school students with an authentication process. So whether Google Classroom or whatever, there's about 12 different SSOs you can use to set up your student profiles, but you can also have a guest login. So that guest login could be used by public patrons and things to access different titles as well. We do work with public libraries too. Mackin Via is just created specifically for pre-K-12, but I work with a number of schools who kind of have those hybrid libraries too. Any other questions? Everyone see my screen on the website now? I just was going to show this real quick. So this is Mackin.com, what I was mentioning. So we have millions of titles on here. As you can see, we have all of our different areas. This is where you find those custom product recommendation forms under Makerspace, Classroom. I mean, literally takes 5 minutes to fill out a form. Our team will drop a list into your account, and these lists have tons of amazing information. You can manipulate the list, you can export the lists, you can share the lists. You can even get analyses of the lists. So if you're working with title funds or different things that you need specific things to be hitting certain areas, you can get a summary of your list. So you can go in and see how your list breaks down by categories, by Dewey, by genres, by tags. So if you want to see how diverse your collection is and different things, you can get a breakdown of your whole collection. And this same thing that you're seeing here, you can do with your current school's library collection of what it actually looks like at this day. Other things in here, like I said, we sell titles in all different formats. So I was just going to pop into this. I was mentioning the preview. You can open up a book and an ebook, get reviews of that. When you're working with our team for like supplemental recommendations, they can actually give you full access to titles. So you can read the whole titles before you make decisions. As you go into books, all the information you could ever want, full text reviews from multiple review journals, award information. Our website is basically created so you don't have to cross-reference any other site for the info that you would need as an educator about the different titles. And then Mackin Via, I'll just show you that quick, our digital content platform. The home base is just carousels of all the different resources you have that you can create and customize and move up and down. The groups I mentioned, I love the groups. So you put everything on here, your ebooks, your databases, audiobooks, websites, all this stuff. And now if Mr. Anderson's got a NASA unit, he wants to use a bunch of these resources that you guys are providing them, he can easily put them together, give our instructions to those. And also like YouTube, Vimeo videos. I really love this actually, how they have just a bed on here. So it doesn't actually pull the kids to YouTube and Vimeo. There's a lot of great stuff on YouTube and gives a teacher a little easier way to use those resources. And then also, as I mentioned, you could take this group and put it right into your Google Classroom coursework, or right into your Schoology coursework, or right into your Canvas coursework. Makes it really easy for teachers to, again, make these digital resources accessible.
Andy.
So that's really all I have. Yeah.
Andy, Steve Johnson here in Fort Ransom. We're a small elementary district of 20 kids, K6. How would I go in there and show on your website how this could be a useful resource for my teachers?
Or Mackin Via specifically?
Yep.
Well, first off, it's completely free. And so you can take all the resources you have accessible right now without spending a dime, put all the North Dakota Library databases on here, any digital resources that you've purchased from anybody, put them on here. websites that you like to regularly use, YouTube videos, Vimeo videos, PDFs, like I mentioned, if it has a URL, put that stuff on here. Anything digital that you want your students and staff to access, put it on Mackin Via. So now it's in one clean space, and they can manipulate that data to do multiple different things for coursework and learning management system integrations, different things like that. So I guess the biggest push was just making a nice, clean, easy space for all your digital content, not people going everywhere, having to log in multiple times. You're all under one authentication, nice and easy. And then there are tons of different like backpack things. I didn't even go into that. Like you can highlight, note take, all your annotations that you would imagine. There's text to speech. There is natural voice audio, ebooks. You can even change the font into like open dyslexic font. And then any annotations that students take, they can actually export into a Word doc that gives them the title summary, the how many pages, all of their highlights, all their notes, when they took them. It just does it for them. I mean, there's so many little things that I didn't even go to. It's an amazing resource, and there's a reason it's won 21 national awards. But to answer your question, Steve, a little too long, is just make your digital access easier and put it all in one space.
Can you search reviews for books by title?
So if you go to a title and then go in it, like I'm in Frizzy right here, you just scroll down and all the reviews and awards and full text reviews are in there. Our team automatically puts these in there. If there's not one in there, it doesn't have it. You can search by, you can add keywords for title and then put a requirement for having a number of reviews or a specific review or award. So if you just want to see results with X amount of reviews that have the keyword of the title you're looking for, you can do that. There's ways you can do that, yes. A lot of people use the advanced search to just get results of like a content area with X amount of reviews or a specific review or award that they like. But yes, you can.
So Andy, I'm just a quick comment for everybody who's online right now. The majority of the people online are school superintendents. I would say to them too, one of the things you might want to do when Steve posts the link to this recording is to have your curriculum directors, your principals, your librarians give them access to this video so they can look and see this tool and how, and maybe they can provide more feedback and to make sure that those folks who are making these decisions in your schools can see what's available to them.
Yeah, and they could start a Mackin Via site today if they wanted. It's absolutely free. All they got to do is create a Mackin.com account and request a Mackin Via site, and they'll get set up. And I am the contact for everything Mackin.com and Mackin Via. I will help them get plugged in, get their account set up, get all those tools and things accessible on their account so they can take advantage of like the analysis, the tag reports and different things, and also just familiarize themselves with kind of the best practices of our sites as well. Well, if there are any more questions, I guess this is a last chance. Otherwise, I really appreciate all your time. I know it's valuable and it's always busy time during the school year. So again, honestly, really appreciate it. Been working with schools for a long time and know how valuable this opportunity is. So thank you. And hopefully I'll be hearing from some of you going forward.
Any last questions for Andy before we let him sign off? And
Andy, you can just stop the recording, and if there's anybody who wants to hang in here, they can hang on. I think you have to do it.